How you doing? Hello, welcome to the winery. Uh, we're a small boutique wine store right here in Harlem. We carefully curate our wines, and primarily most of our wines are under $20 a bottle. I would say 60% of the wines are under 20. Then we have other wines. We even have some very high-end, sort of luxury wines, or wines that can be possibly used for cellaring for 20, 25 years and become special as they age. I wanted to bring you into a wine store so you know what to expect from a good to great wine store. The first thing you automatically notice is most of the bottles are laying flat horizontally. We need to do that because the cork on these wines can dry out if they're standing too long. And what I mean by standing too long, I'm not talking about 2 weeks. I'm talking months to possibly years, especially depending on the temperature in the environment and the humidity. Temperature up or under, 70 degrees in a wine store technically is pretty good. Everybody wants 55 degrees, I get it. But in reality, there's not a lot of wine stores that are at 55 degrees. Maybe there's a 50-50. I haven't done the serious research on it. But if you can find a wine store that keeps their temperature under 70, which means they have a commercial refrigeration unit or a commercial air conditioner, and then also in the wintertime, they don't have their heat blasting to accommodate the staff. Unfortunately, in the wine world, it can be a little chilly. I did some, I was a cellar master for several years, and so I lived in 55 degrees for about 4 or 5 years of my life. So basically, you also want to know that the wine store is set up by region. Because why by region as opposed to grape varietal? Well, a lot of times if a consumer comes in and he sees a store, he sees a setup, and it's all the Chardonnays together, a lot of times they just grab a Chardonnay, assuming that all Chardonnays taste alike, but they don't. It's really more conducive to set your store up by region because you need consumers to understand that a Chardonnay grown in a cool climate area, say like the Champagne region of France, is not going to taste the same as a Chardonnay grown in, say, California, Paso Robles, where it's very hot. The hotter or warmer regions produce wines or riper fruit, which in return will bring out higher alcohol levels, whereas cooler climates keep the acid high, keeps the sugar low, so you have usually a little bit more high acid, crisp, greener style wines from cooler climates, and sometimes, unfortunately, a little overly alcoholic, fruitier or riper fruit wines from warmer climates. So to set your store up by region is a plus, because once customers come in, that's the first thing they want to, or they can associate with. Do I want a cool climate wine, or do I want a warmer climate wine, which means I want a bigger wine? So you can go to regions of the world like Australia, California, parts of Italy, southern Italy, parts of southern France, where the climate is a little warmer, which are going to produce a bigger style wine. If you go to cooler climates, of course, like the Loire Valley, parts in France like Bordeaux, you're going to get a lighter bodied wine, or light to medium bodied wine. So that's the second thing you need to know about having a great wine store. Another is a knowledgeable staff. Wine, there's over 120,000 wines in the U.S. on any given year. We get about 60,000 different wines that come into the U.S. On a regular basis. And plus, our domestic market, we probably produce somewhere around 40 to 50,000 different wines as well. So that's about 120,000 wines that ultimately can show up in a wine store. Well, that is a lot of wines, and it's really unrealistic to have that many wines in a wine store. So Sometimes you can find a wine from a particular store, but you look all over in other states or other cities and you can't find that wine. Well, that's because every wine store will decide whether or not they want or a particular wine. You know, they'll choose their selection based on popularity or based on their experience in the wine business. So, as I say, a knowledgeable staff, super important in this business. Because a knowledgeable staff will listen to your needs and will help assist you find a particular wine that you're looking for. You know, if a staff is not asking you questions about what type of foods do you love, what type of aromas do you find interesting, because a lot of these characteristics we associate with wine, and to sort of bring you into the right wine, they need a little information about you. So any particular location or any particular store that is not asking you questions about what you're serving, what are some of the foods that you like, what are some of the characteristics as far as aromas that interest you or create intrigue, or the aromas of floral or fruit or earthy tones. That's important to find the right wine for the right person. So anytime you're in a wine store, make sure you have a knowledgeable staff. Make sure the temperature is in a moderate level that you can pretty much rest assured that a lot of these bottles are in proper condition, and then enjoy. You know, one last thing: tastings. You definitely want a store, especially if you don't have a particular store. The store that does tastings that are guided by someone that is educated in wine is very helpful for a consumer, because it allows you to taste wines without purchasing them, and also be able to ask any type or any question that might assist you in your understanding of wine. So when you do go out to find a wine store in your community, find a wine store that has a knowledgeable staff, proper storage conditions, and tastings, you know, free tastings, because that means that they are probably passionate and they want you to learn as much as you can about the wines that they carry in their store. That's Eric White signing off for the day. Peace.
Boom. I like it.
So definitely I got some touch-up work to do. But,
hey, that was great, man.